look, it's becoming increasingly hard for Labor. Every expert says the states basically got away with pulling money out when the NDIS came in, and then the increase in it they're not responsible for. There was even this extra GST money for them, and yet still, Liv, now the states are sort of having another unified spat. It's getting hard, isn't it?
And I think that's what makes this such an interesting dynamic. They've already agreed at the last National Cabinet to fork out more for the NDIS to at least shoulder some of the cost burden, because the long complaint about the NDIS has been that it's become like an oasis in the desert, and therefore there's this push to create more foundational support. So that would be for parents with children with less severe disabilities. They've got something to go to in their communities. So ultimately, it's something that the states have already said that they want to do. Labor, of course, they're the ones that created the NDIS. They really want this to work. It does feel like the states are sort of playing games a little bit here, especially given your GST remark before. And it is my understanding that NDIS legislation will be introduced to Parliament tomorrow. It's going to cover a few things, including foundational supports.
What is striking me out of these Voxies and generally is almost sacredness of the NDIS to people, which is a problem, because all of us sit here as analysts and know something has to happen with the funding. It's swallowing the budget. There should be means testing of it, but it's becoming like Medicare. You know, governments have tried to touch Medicare, put in a $5 co-payment. No one will cop it.
I had Peter Dutton, number in it versus the number projected to be in it, isn't it?
Yeah, I had Peter Dutton on Sunday agenda. I put the means testing question up there. I thought he'd at least say we're going to trim it. Politically, the research must show him, because he didn't come at it, you can't touch it. And this is a massive budgetary concern for Australia.
It's a massive budget concern, but it's also a massive political risk. As you touched on, this is a really popular program, so they've got to find a way to try and diffuse the costs here. The problem is, I think, I'm not sure, we've got Bill Shorten, I think, coming on tomorrow, but we might ask him, have you been complacent on getting the states on board with this, Mr Shorten? Because they're all Labor, except for one. This is as good as it gets for the federal government. If you can't get this mob on board, you'll struggle in any other context.
Yep. Yeah, and look, the people that care about it say, and that are worried about the costs say, because it needs to be reserved for the people that need it most. You know, it's not people saying heartlessness. It's about have the scheme. It's going to be expensive for those that need it most, and people that could use other things and not have to be the NDIS, and cheaper options is what is sort of the best solution.
Do you see a bit of a pattern here in the Albanese approach? Get a proposal, shove it in front of the state premiers or the opposition, say you've got 24 hours to decide, you've got to back it or you're stuffed, and then get it through. He always leaves it to the last moment. Will it always work? Maybe this time it hasn't worked. We'll see.